today in part three of the magnetic series, I want to close out this series with a deeper truth. Simple but deeper. You don't need to attract love, or you don't attract love by performing for it. You attract it when you're fueled, when you're aligned, and when you're soft. And I don't mean soft skin. You attract it when your energy is soft, when it's fueled, and when you're aligned. Okay? Because while performing typically gets high achieving women or high achieving people in general, praise, acknowledgement, promotions, more money, and all that stuff, in love, it actually creates distance. I used to think I had to show up and I could do it all in my career, in my home, in my relationships. It was like I had to prove I was worth choosing. And that's that hook of the strong black woman trap. That's what happens when you're on that trap. You connect your sense of worth, sense of value with doing, proving, over delivering, over functioning. That's where I was. But the energy, that type of energy is actually pressure. And pressure does not attract closeness. It pushes it away, it repels it because people who come around you feel the sense of heightenedness and doesn't allow them to be at ease or to feel relaxed. Think about it. I'm sure you have friends who when you're around or people that you're around, it's easy to be there. It's simple. You don't have to put up anything. You don't have to be anything. You can just be yourself. And conversely, there are others who when they're around you or you're around them, you feel like you have to do something, be something. You're not as relaxed as you could be. It's the same thing. So the energy in when you're a high achiever who's used to always over functioning and over delivering and just having this heightened sense of I have to do, I have to be hyper vigilant. That type of energy feels like pressure for you and for those who experience you. And what it does is push away and repels people who come around you or even keeps them from coming around you. I've seen it myself in myself and I've seen it in the women that I've worked with and that I work with. The more you perform, the less magnetic you feel. The less magnetic you are, the less magnetic you feel. The moment that you release that pressure, people, men, lean in because men don't connect with perfection. Remember, I'm talking about magnetism and how to attract the love that you want. As a high achiever, they don't connect with perfection. They connect with who you are, your presence. And I shared in the last video that the more you are, the more magnetic you are. Because when you're you're soft, you're relaxed, your personality shines through without anything covering it or hiding it or minimizing it. So they are not drawn to your resume, no matter how fantastic it may be, or your highlight reel, or for those of us on IG, they're drawn to how it feels to be with you, to be around you, to experience your presence. And that's what makes you magnetic. When you're not proving, when you're not trying to earn anything, when you're not performing, when you're just being you. So the deal is really to practice the energy of being you, to practice being the energy of just being yourself, being self, being who you are, authentic to who you are, without feeling the need to do any of those extra things that we've been programmed to do culturally or societally. That's what being aligned means, right? So just being aligned and available for real connection is the magnetism that will draw that love to you. So I want to ask you one question. Can you think of one way that you catch yourself performing in relationships? I would love to know, so drop it in the chat so that I can look at it later. And I want to leave you with two reminders as I wrap up this series and this live. One, attraction isn't about your looks, your resume, what you've accomplished, what you've gained, your title. It's about your energy. And that energy is you being you. Because when you're you, I know it sounds very simple, but simple is not always easy, especially for those of us who've been programmed to do all these things to the point where we don't even know how to be and how to be us. We don't know who we are. And that's the danger that lies therein when your whole life is predicated on performance and proving and doing all these things outside externally that are not reflective of who you are on the inside. So the first reminder is attraction is not about your looks, about your resume, about your title, about where you are on that ladder. It's about your energy, and your energy comes from being who you are, as you are. And the second thing is that you don't have to keep proving for your worth or your value or for love anymore. You only have to, the only focus, the only thing that should be proven is showing up as yourself, showing up fueled, not forced, not planned, not pre packaged. And when I say fueled, I don't mean hustling either or hustling harder. I mean, when you're fueled, essentially your body and your spirit are full. They're not running on fumes. So your task here is to fuel yourself with things that fuel you. So for me, I mentioned that running, prayer, meditation, eating well, nice makeup, those things fuel me, and therefore they allow me to show up as myself, and I feel less inclined to prove because I feel full. I'm present as I am because I've done the things that make me feel like me, you know. So your body's fueled when you are fueled when your body and your spirit are full instead of just running on fumes, the leftover from the overperforming and over everything, right? It's when you've given yourself, think of it like this, it's when you've given yourself something first, and then the rest of the world gets what's after what you've given yourself. So in a sense, you can think God first, or higher power, whoever that is for you. For me, it's God first, because without that higher power, that's us, you won't be you. So we have to acknowledge that. However, you acknowledge that, it's up to you. So for me, it's God, then it's me. So I give God the first part. I give myself what's next. I give myself next, and then the rest of it is for the world. That's how you feel yourself. You think about it like that, you know. So what are the things after you've done the prayer, whatever it is, to your source, your creator, then whatever you need, you give yourself in that order, and the world gets the rest. If you can maintain this order of things, then I promise you that getting off that hook of over performance, over delivery, trying to be everything to everybody at the cost of yourself and who you are, will it will be easier. It's not going to completely solve it, because again, this is years and years of societal cultural programming, and even now, especially now, we're in a heightened sense of I have to do all these things to hold on because of all that may be going on. So now it's even, I feel like it's even increasingly harder because there's a lot of performative stuff going on in the world that if you're not careful, that will continue to just support you in that role. Whereas what you need, especially now, is to be less like that. Not like that at all, but maybe start with less and more yourself. Because the more less of performance you give, the more realness you can give to yourself. And some things that could fuel you, or could you could give to yourself first, are laughing. I know it's again very simple, but simple works. We've been also part of what has been happening as strong Black women who are hooked on that trap, is thinking that we have to, that when things are simple, they're not effective, and that they don't, they that basically things that are successful and things that we should aspire to do come at a price. And if it's not complicated, if you don't have to do this, send this resume, go do this project, do this thing, stay up till 2 a.m., keep going and going, even on vacation, not unwinding or trying to see 20 different attractions on one visit, or trying to go to 66 different countries on one trip to relax. You know, that's just how we've been functioning. So I forgot what I was saying, but I'm saying that some examples of um, occasions that you can give yourself first is maybe when you're laughing, when you're just dancing, when you're just experiencing pure joy that's not attached to anything. That's good, because it shows that you're not coming into love empty. You fueled yourself, you filled yourself with the things that make you you and make you happy, and just give you that joy that is not attached to anything outside of yourself. Think about when you're laughing with a friend, one who just makes things easy, and just makes whatever is happening light, and just shows you always the other side of things, that are not things that we we that things that go away first, maybe when we're in the thick of it, right? Or you're listening to your favorite playlist, you're dancing just unscripted, in the kitchen, in the shower, singing, don't quit your day job, or even taking a walk, right? Or running, or whatever, those types of things. When you pour them into yourself, you come from a place of fullness, of being fueled with energy that is not pressure and that doesn't feel like pressure. And when you soften into that, you become more yourself, right? You're lighter, you're more vivacious, you're more vibrant. And that's what people are drawn to. Again, it's not the resume, it's not the title, it's not the homes, it's not the trips, it's not the designer purses, it's none of those things. Those things may matter, but they're typically secondary, and if they even do at all. It's not performance. It's the softness that makes you magnetic. And that magnetism is when you adjust yourself, pouring into yourself first and foremost. That's the energy. Okay. So I'm going to wrap up. This whole series, the 3 mini part series, has been about really one truth. And the truth is that performing for worth spills into you wherever you are, because it's you experiencing all these different things. You're not different at work than you are in your relationships, than you are at home, in your marriage, in as a friend. It's you who's experiencing work, experiencing marriage, experiencing relationships, experiencing motherhood, vacation, whatever, right? So it is you. And if you are performing for worth, that's the experience that you're going to have in all these different areas is going to be the experience of worth in marriage, worth in relationship, worth in love, worth everywhere, performing for it everywhere. So that's what the series is about. It's about acknowledging that performing for worth in all these different experiences drains you and does not fuel you, and will actually repel. Now, in the love experience, it's going to repel that attraction that you are seeking. And also remember that when you soften up, when you fuel yourself, you're not just creating more, you're attracting more, and you're attracting love and connections and relationships that will support you in unhooking from the strong black woman trap. So, if you're ready to stop or step out of performance mode and into an attraction that feels real, I would love to invite you to grab, as a first step, the guide. It's called The 5 Signs You're in the Strong Black Woman Trap. And basically, it gives you simple hacks to unhook from those signs, or to let those signs go bye bye. I'll see you in the next video. The link is somewhere behind the video, or you can comment ready and I'll send it to you.